will die. But then his hand is held. The cold prison for a moment became warm. His last moments. Booster Gold traveled across time and space, trying his best for 3 years to save his friend. But he couldn't. There are some outcomes you can't change. But that doesn't mean it needs to be faced alone. Goodbye, Teddy. I'm a cynical asshole in real life, but even I wanted to cry in this moment. There's a pair of characters that don't appear in the Injustice games, but do in the comics, and oddly enough, they have one of the most beautiful little arcs in the whole story. Booster Gold and Ted Cord, a pair of losers you can't help but to love, and in the greater context of everything, their uncompromising bromance is actually the key to understanding the whole story. One of the central themes of Injustice is the idea of being present for the people who need it, because people act out when they feel neglected and alone. Superman's regime could have literally been averted if Batman just sat and listened to his friend. Not agree, but just mourn with him, instead of just invalidating his pain by telling Clark he can't be doing what he's doing. This whole "I'm too manly to listen and be vulnerable" is also what fueled Batman and Ra's war. They may not be brothers, but they are one family. Bruce's son and daughter are Ra's grandchildren, thus their future is one, and it's not until Alfred forces Bruce to admit this that he's willing to sit and talk about a ceasefire. Furthermore, all the smaller relationships are variants of this theme, where being there for someone, even if you're on opposite sides, or even when doom is coming, that's the key. Ted was one of the first people Batman invited to his new humanitarian council. However, shortly after the invitation, Ted is warned by Booster that this is it. People are coming. He will die. All he can do is go down fighting, leading to this harrowing moment where, during Batman's first meeting, we cross-cut with Ted. Dragged and forced to read Ra's statement before realizing this isn't a hostage situation, but a declaration of war. He and thousands are executed. One may dismiss the sheer nihilism of taking a dorky character and eviscerating him so horribly, but it's actually the opposite. Ted Kord's death injects a stronger dose of heart into the story, one that's then carried by Booster. Booster Gold's entire shtick is built on the idea that he's never taken seriously. Some accuse you of being a mockery of a real hero. How do you respond? What? Mockery? Of course, you came out of nowhere 2 months ago and so far have demonstrated as great an appetite for commercialism as for heroism. As Gatsby argued, those who suffer from imposter syndrome believe that they lack ability. Such beliefs are not only false, they are just as, if not more able than their peers. That insecurity is what's underneath Booster's appearance, because he's always afraid of being exposed. In his original run, it actually took 6 issues for his origins to be revealed, and that's only because Superman is forced to ask Skeets. Booster is Michael John Calder, a dude from the future who peaked at 20 as a successful quarterback destined for fame and fortune, but was then kicked out for betting on his own games, which was especially devastating because he grew up poor in Gotham. Even his mother and sister turned their backs on him. Therefore, going back in time using a future supersuit to become a superhero is his second chance at glory. The reveal causes Superman to make this face that I love. However, Booster Gold deep down inside isn't a bad guy or even totally greedy. He's a sad man trying to recapture lost success and is desperate to be valued and accepted. He's also not unheroic. He does feel guilt. He does care. I'm explaining all of this because Injustice Booster Gold's journey is a wonderful payoff to this, and I also gotta set up one of the most tear-jerking moments ever. In death, Ted signs away everything, his entire fortune to Booster, because he's got no close family, but he has his best friend. He even put money in a side savings account that'll eventually accumulate enough to pay for Booster's stolen suit in the future, so his imposter syndrome can finally be alleviated. He won't feel like a crook pretending to be a hero, as Superman accused back in the day. This idea of pretending is also where Jayme comes in. Ted Kord's protege, a kid who's precisely described as actually gonna be the kind of hero we always pretended we'd be one day. A kid who's also another victim of Batman's I don't have time for people behavior, because after Jayme f***ed up and attacked Ra's sanctuary, leading to mass extinction of several endangered species, thus leading to a retaliatory attack on the US inauguration ceremony, the only act of understanding and mentorship Batman can muster is telling him to leave and stopped using his powers. He's so angry. As a result, Booster is positioned as the anti-Batman. In fact, he literally preaches, first bit of advice in your training, ignore Batman. And instead of never having time for people who need it, Booster creates the time. Booster Gold is still the same old doofus we know, but now he's wiser. See, there are some things that can change, things that don't matter to the time stream. And there are things that absolutely have to happen. As a result, Jayme is Michael's way of making meaning out of his best friend's death. He recognizes that they have a destiny together, which is revealed to stop Starro, leading to this beautiful moment where as war happens outside and Jayme sits terrified, Booster shows him the video of Ted again. Jayme says Ted was wrong, he was a hero. And Booster agrees because he was his. What's important in life isn't obsession with death or the desire to overcome it. It's about giving company to those who need it. That's all that matters. Jayme became a true hero because there was someone there for him. Therefore, he's not afraid to sacrifice himself as the scarab leaves him. But then, Booster gives up his space mask. No more pretending, Teddy. Time to be a hero. As Booster Gold gazed into the abyss, into his death, terrified. However, when he learned there was no way to save Ted, he figured out, perhaps, they could at least have a few years in the middle. His hand is held. The cold vacuum of space for a moment felt warm. His last moments. There are some things you can't change, but that doesn't mean you have to face them alone.
By something we can't see. I was out in the night when something grabbed me.
Or I'm not sure if I've lost my touch or something, but once again this video took goddamn ages because I had just no clue how to transition into talking about Jayme Reyes. It was really important to me that every point leads into the next, but there was just no way to move into Jayme without it feeling really abrupt. So the solution I had was to refer back to Booster Gold's original comics and talk about imposter syndrome, so that topic can actually be a connective tissue. And I think it worked out pretty well. I'm really hoping I'm not going to be spending this long on the next projects because, Jesus Christ, January is starting out rough.
Best coffee I've ever had in my life.
He's right. It's amazing.